All right, so I couldn't find any more. I mean, well, I could find more Denzel Washington movies on like my computer or something. I could watch it on there, but I don't want to watch it on my computer. Maybe I don't know. Maybe another time I would, but yeah, I couldn't find the other ones on Tubi. That's all I found is those ones from the '80s, the Monty Quinn and the Ricochet. Well, I'll look into more of that later on in the future. I'll watch more Denzel Washington movies and review it. But I found something else on Tubi. Another interesting one that a lot of people have been talking about. This is gang related, starring Tupac Shakur and James Belushi. Well, now his name is Jim Belushi. Now, I don't know why he changed it to Jim Belushi. I like James better than Jim. Jim is just Jim. But anyways, yeah, this is gang related. 1997, starring Tupac, and it's sad what happened to that guy because he got killed in a drive-by shooting by these assholes, driving by, and Orlando Anderson, whatever his fucking name is, and his other asshole, Keefe D. They came by and started shooting the fuck out of him and Suge Knight, and fucking Tupac dies like 7 days later, which is kind of weird. This dude was alive for like 7 days in the hospital, and like all of a sudden, a week later, he just dies in the hospital, like out of the blue. It's like somebody just went into his room and injected him with some poison and killed him. That's basically what happened. Same with Martin Luther King. The same exact shit happened. Martin Luther King would have still been alive if it wasn't for that fucking, I don't know. I heard some rumors some nurse went into his room and suffocated him or something with a pillow. That's what I heard. Same with Tupac. Like, it makes no sense. He was alive for a week in the hospital and also he just dies. Like, it makes no sense. But whatever. Well, that should still be a mystery to this day. But let's go back to this movie. Yeah, Tupac, he did like a couple of movies before he died. This is like one of them, and there was like another one I think he did. There was another one called Gridlocked with I think it was Tim Roth. And Tim Roth, he's a great actor, but in real life I heard he's like an asshole to work with. That's what I heard. But yeah, I like Tim Roth, but I heard like a lot of bad things about the guy. That he's like a douchebag or something. He looks like a douchebag. I mean, he played douchebag characters in the past in the Quentin Tarantino movies like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. So, I mean, it's not surprising. He plays a great douchebag. Maybe I'll check into Gridlock in the future, maybe. We'll see. But right now we're reviewing Gang Related. So this is a movie about Tupac and James Belushi are crooked detective cops. One night they decide to they're at this motel to wait for this guy. He's another rapper, Kumo D, which a lot of people know who he is. He's another famous rapper. He plays this undercover. Well, they don't know that he's undercover. They think he's like a regular gangster buying cocaine from James Belushi. So he comes in there with the lady who's also working for James Belushi. There's a hooker lady. She comes in there and like James Belushi hands him the cocaine and he walks out. He drives off. Then all of a sudden a car comes out of nowhere and shoots him, kills him, and they drive off. Tupac and James Belushi, they set the whole killing on him, and they drive off, and they drop off the hooker lady, drop her off, and this homeless man's out the street. And the reason why I'm mentioning the homeless man is because he's the big part of this movie. He's played by Dennis Quaid. We're gonna get into him soon. He's a big part of this movie. We'll get into him soon. So later on, Tupac and James Belushi, they're like, they show up to the crime scene. The next day they show up and they're like, oh man, it's a shame. Another gang killing another gang guy. What a surprise. And this is kind of ironic. And it's kind of sounds familiar to what happened to Tupac, because the same thing happened to him, because three gangsters are in a car driving by and they kill Tupac and shoot up at Suge Knight. Same shit, right? That sounds very suspicious about that for some reason. It's just a like I said, it's just ironic. And another thing is, another word for it is, there's another word for it, I can't think of it right now. I just had it. Foreshadowing. I feel like some kind of foreshadowing right there. I feel like this movie was actually telling something right here. You know, this came out like a year after Tupac's death, but it was foreshadowing something there. Then later on, the next scene, Tupac's at his apartment chilling, and these two goons come in here. One is a midget, and one of them is Debo from Friday. I'm like, Debo, what the hell's he doing here? And the thing is about Debo, Tiny Lister Jr., is that he has no lines in this movie. He just stands there and gives Tupac the deadly look on his face. That's about it. He doesn't say anything. Got no lines, nothing, no dialogue. He just stands there with an angry look on his face like he does in Friday. Well, at least in Friday, yes, he says shit like, "Where's my money at?" and "You got my drink?" He says shit like that. Here it's like he doesn't say anything. Hell, even the fucking movie Jackie Brown, he says a lot of shit in there, and he had like a small role in that. This is like a lesser role than Jackie Brown, to be fair. And this movie came out the same year as Jackie Brown. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the director was doing with this movie. Like, the guy doesn't say anything. He just stands there, give him the look. That's it. No lines, no nothing. He only appears like 2 scenes. This scene and the last scene, where we're going to get to that soon. But right now, we're talking about this first scene right here with Tupac and Debo and the midget guy. So, the reason why those two goons show up to Tupac's place is that, you know, Tupac owes money for gambling problems, and Tupac doesn't have the money. He only has like $4,000 on him, and that's all they gave him for right now, till they come back later on. And he needs, because he owes at least like $27,000. Well, it's like more than that. It's somewhere in 27,943, I think. That's what the guy just said. If I get that right, I'd be like, "Oh, jackpot, baby." I'm like, God damn, I'm really good at keeping math in my head, you know. So yeah, he owes that much money, and Tupac doesn't know what to do about that, and he's like worried about that shit, especially the whole thing about. We're gonna get to that right now. So, James Belushi and Tupac get called into the office, and their boss was telling them that this guy right here, he is I think he's an FBI agent, I think, or DEA or something. I think he's DEA. The DEA agent came into the office, and he's wondering why his undercover partner died. And they're like, "What the fuck? We killed a DEA agent who was undercover trying to buy drugs?" And next scene, you know, they're driving to a fucking I think like a junkyard, and they have like an argument with each other. They're like, "What the fuck? We didn't know that guy's a fucking DEA agent. Like, are you fucking kidding me? We didn't know that. They got no badge, no gun, nothing. They had nothing on him. Like, how the fuck?" Like, he's like, "That guy was an idiot." So now they're fucked, and now they gotta figure out how to get out of this situation. After doing it for so long, fucking just take out all these other assholes out. So they gotta figure out a plan. So their plan is to stick it on a homeless man. And that's the sad part about it. And the homeless man is played by Dennis Quaid, who does a really terrific job playing this character. I think he's very underrated in this movie. I think they did a really good fucking job. So this homeless man. Well, before that, they tried to put it on other fucking criminals and shit like that. One's like this Hispanic guy, one this black guy, and then there was this white dude who was a jewelry thief like 3 hours before the time that really happened at 2 a.m. And they're like, "Shit, I guess this guy's ain't it either." So like I said, they find this homeless man with a gun on him, and because I guess the homeless man is about to kill himself or something like that because he was like wasted and shit, and They grab him, and they fucking they take him in, and they put the blame on him, and he gets arrested and put in jail until the court date happens. And they get the black hooker lady to talk about it, and she don't want to do it. She refuses to do it because she knows the homeless man, and she's like a friend to him or something, and she refuses to do it. You know, she's still pointed out for them, and she don't want to sign the papers, so she refused to do that, but they made her do it. But the thing is, the lady, you know, the hooker lady who plays this movie, I think her name is Leah Rochen, if I say her name right, plays Cynthia Webb. She really let herself go. Because when I look at her in this movie, she's sexy as hell, and I look at her now, is like, she really ate herself out of the movies, didn't she? How much she eat a day? And she's married to a famous director who directed Training Day and The Equalizer, Antoine Fuqua. I'm like, Antoine Fuqua, what the hell happened to your lady? The fuck could she be eating all day? She eat up all your fucking money, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you, I wouldn't let herself fucking go. I'm like, she was a beautiful ass lady in the 90s. Then also you see her now, it's like, what the fuck happened to her? Is that the same woman? I mean, there's nothing wrong with a thick lady, but she turned out not the way I thought she would turn out to be. Well, anyways, that's just... I mean, when you have children, I guess that does that to you, you know? To some women, it does that, actually. It makes you, like, gain weight, I heard. Well, anyways, yeah. She's different now. But... what else happens in this fucking movie? So yeah, they pin down this fucking homeless guy, which turns out before that, he actually was a surgeon who cheated on his wife. His wife was pretty pissed off about it, so she took the kids, and they drive off, and she gets in a bad, deadly accident, and they all die, and that really fucked him up, and he decides to go, live on the streets because he's he was really fucked up about it, and he just couldn't let it go about it. And that's what really happened. And fucking Jason Belushi got pissed off about it because it turns out that he actually is a really, not really a bad person at all. He fucked up his marriage by fucking this other lady. So he's like, shit. So we got a guy in jail who is actually a saint. That's what he really said. And like Tupac's like losing it too about it. So yeah, then they go to court, and before the homeless man trial, there's this other guy they got in trouble, and they framed him for something, and they ended up getting the wrong gun to prove that he did it or something like that. And the guy fucking flips out like a monkey about it. It's like, I didn't do it, they framed me. He started beating up the fucking guards and shit. He's like, I didn't do it. He just put more charges on his dumb ass just by doing that shit. He's fucking punching people and shit like a fucking maniac. Like, fucking chill the fuck out. I understand they framed you, but calm down. What the fuck are you doing? Oh yeah, by the way, that district attorney lady is pretty attractive though. Especially the way she loses it and everything. I think she's just, sexually frustrated, I think. I think she needs a little dick in her, I think. Or a big dick, She needs some dick. That's all it is. She's just sexually frustrated. And then she'd feel all better. She is a good looking lady though. I don't know about now, but she was a good looking lady back then. Well, anyways, yeah. So, what else? What else fucking happens? James Earl Jones shows up. He's, Darth Vader shows up. He shows up in this fucking movie at like an hour left of the film. Not hour left. 50 minutes left of the film. James Earl Jones shows up. I think he's like good friends with the homeless guy before he became homeless. Because, like I said, he was a surgeon, and I guess that's his buddy. Or I think he was another lawyer too. I think that's what it was, maybe. But yeah, he was friends with him, I think. And they go to court again. This and that happened, and this lady don't want to tell the truth of what happened. The Cynthia Webb, she actually runs away and goes hiding somewhere. So then James Belushi shows up to the bail bondsman, which, interesting enough, this guy who plays the bail bondsman is from something we all know and love. His name is T.C. Carson, the guy who voiced Kratos from the God of War games, the original God of War games. I was like, T.C. Carson, what the hell is he doing here? He's playing a bail bondsman guy. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was laughing my ass off. I was like, it's T.C. Carson. He's the bail bondsman. I was like, that was hilarious. But Dennis Quaid's character, the homeless man, like, he doesn't care about going to jail because he still feels bad about what happened with his wife and stuff. He's like, I need to go to jail. I don't want to be on the streets anymore and this and that. He's just tired of it. He's just tired of living on the streets. Then he went from having a long beard to being clean shaved. He was just regularly Dennis Quaid again. And like I say, he does really good in this movie. He's like very underrated in this movie. And before, I wasn't really crazy about Dennis Quaid in the past, but I like him more now because of this movie. Even though I'm still more of a fan of Randy Quaid than Dennis, though. But I really like him in this movie, though. But yeah, he's like, I want to live on the streets anymore. I want to go to jail. I want killing on the street. I deserve it. After my family and shit. He's like, he's still depressed as shit about that for years and years. I mean, a man itself would always never let that shit go. I mean, you lost your fucking kids and your wife in a car accident. Like, how can you let that shit go? That shit fucking hurts. It's fucking devastating. That's why he don't try to kill himself in the movie. Like, it's fucking hard. And I ain't gonna let that shit go. Yeah, so, yeah, that shit happened, and then all of a sudden, what else happens? Fucking, the lady, they finally find the lady, what's her name? I just said her name, Cynthia Webb. They finally found her, and they got her for the trial, and she talks, and this and that, blah, 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 blah. She talks. Well, even before that, like I said, she, like, I don't think I said it, but she did, like, started talking to James Belushi about it. It's like, I can't do it. I can't go to court. No. He had to tell her to shut the fuck up. Let me just figure this out. He doesn't really figure it out. She still, like, escapes and goes hiding until they actually find her. But yeah, they find her. She tell her side of the story, and she realized that's the homeless man that she was friends with, and he realized that's her too. That happened, and like I said, James Belushi and Tupac Shakur, they gotta find like a different gun now since they used the wrong gun. They went back into that fucking where all the evidences and stuff like that, and the holds of the evidence is like, you can't go in there because the chief of police said so. You can't go in there, and James Belushi and Tupac were pissed off about it. Like, fuck, we got to figure out another plan now. So they gotta figure out something else. What else they can do? So yeah, all that shit happens. Like, they're thinking about it. What we can do? We should like kill that woman, Cynthia Webb. We should do that. And like James Belushi's like, he doesn't know if he wants to do that or not. So they're like thinking about it. It turns out like Tupac has a wire in his shirt, and fucking like James Belushi's like, take your shirt off right now. Pointing the gun at his head. Take your fucking shirt off. Tupac refuses. James Belushi points the gun to his head. Tupac still doesn't do it. James Belushi fucking backs down. He's like, fuck, he couldn't do it. And like, James Belushi lets off Tupac, doesn't kill him, and drives off. And like Tupac like loses it in his house. Then all of a sudden, those guys that want the money shows up and they kill Tupac. That was it for him. And like I said, Tupac did have the wire in his shirt, so there's that. Tupac gets murdered by them, and now fucking James Belushi goes under the disguise to hide from all these cops and shit and whatnot. And he grabs the Cynthia Webb, breaks into the house, talks to her. I think he kills her. I don't remember. I forgot. Then all of a sudden he talks to Bail's bondsman so he can escape to get the hell out of there. And he gets in his limousine, and all of a sudden this guy turns around and shoots him and kills him in the car when the hitman sent to kill him or whatever, And that was really the end of the movie. And I did enjoy it for what it is. I think this is a decent film, I thought it was a decent film. It's a shame Tupac didn't get more roles because, what happened to him and whatnot. I heard he must have been Mace Windu in the Star Wars prequel films, I heard. Even though I don't know he actually would fit that character, but how we should know if, he got killed, so we will never know. But Samuel Jackson will always be Mace Windu, in my opinion. He actually fit the role perfectly. But, yeah, it's a shame what happened to him. He would have been like in tons and tons of movies if that didn't happen. He must have been in the movie Baby Boy as Tyrese Gibson's character. He was the main character of Baby Boy, but he got killed, so I don't know why it took so long to even write that movie in the first place. It took like years that they actually wrote it, to be honest with you. I think it supposed to came out earlier, but I guess I don't know what happened with that. They took like a while to that come out. So they got Tyrese Gibson and Snoop Dogg in there. I never watched that movie because it's just I'm not big on Tyrese Gibson like that. I was never big on that actor. If it actually was Tupac in there, I would watch it, but. Oh yeah, and by the way, that wasn't a hit, man. That was the guy in the court they tried to put in jail because he's a serial killer and whatnot. So yeah, it was a serial killer guy they tried to put away, but it didn't work. So He kills him in a limousine because James Belushi tried to get away in the limousine to go to the airport to get out of that fucking city after shooting the lady and all that confession happened on the tape that Tupac had on him and whatnot. So that failed, and yeah, that's the end of the movie, really. Yeah, I thought this movie was pretty decent. You know, I like the story and whatnot. I like the actors. Dennis Quaid was very underrated in this film. Like I said, you guys should check this out. You know, it's not a bad movie. You know, it's not bad. It's pretty decent. What else did this guy even do exactly? He did Rush Hour, but he was just a writer of Rush Hour. He just wrote it. He wrote the movie National Treasure. He wrote that's only the movies I actually know that he wrote. It's just Rush Hour and National Treasure. Let's see these fucking IMDb comments real quick here. Let me look at these facts first here. The spiky on-screen relationship between Jim Belushi and Tupac Shakur were helped off-screen by the fact that Shakur liked to nail his scenes in 1 or 2 takes, and was annoyed by Belushi for preferring to do it in multiple takes. Oh, so they had like a fight about that shit. And this other one they have here about, according to the director, Tupac was supposed to score music for the movie, but died before he could. I wonder what the music would have been like. But instead, they used his old music in this movie, which I remember in these scenes, where especially where they at the strip club. I remember a couple that they used his old music for it. I mean, it's close enough, right? Well, what else could they do? The man's dead. They had to do with that instead. So yeah, this movie, I liked it. It's decent. You should check it out. See if you like it more than me.